want to come on British television and speak to the British people is that you feel you've been quite seriously misquoted.
How low can you go?
Oh, you thought the Markle family drama had settled. Think again. Because just as Meghan was trying to keep her image polished and perfect, another family bombshell has dropped. This time from a previously hidden sibling who is breaking their silence in the most shocking way imaginable. Allegedly claiming to hold the key to secrets Meghan has desperately tried to bury. And from the whispers coming out, this isn't ordinary family gossip. It's a full-blown tell. All storm that could make even Tom Bower raise an eyebrow. So grab your tea because this story is heating up faster than Meghan's Montecito PR team can handle.
Being thrown into this case, shouldn't she be going after the writers of that book for defamation then?
She should, but I guess the theory would be that there's a source, right, that supposedly Meghan was a source, but it's very bad, respectfully, it's very bad lawyering, very bad pleading from the standpoint. If anything, you should bring everybody in versus just concentrating on one defendant.
It began quietly, a whisper on a podcast, a vague mention on an American talk show. But soon the clues started to align, and the sister's name began appearing in all the wrong places for Meghan. And before long, the tabloids were buzzing with headlines like, "Secret Markle relative speaks out. The world needs to know the truth," threatening Meghan's carefully crafted public image, built on compassion, resilience, and Hollywood sparkle, which has always depended on controlling the narrative. But when family speaks, all bets are off. Because no matter how much PR spin you apply, bloodline stories cut through the gloss, and according to sources close to the situation, this hidden sister who reportedly grew up under very different circumstances than Meghan has come forward with emotional, even painful recollections of what she calls the real Meghan. Not the feminist icon, not the global humanitarian, but the woman behind the curtain, who, according to her, has spent years rewriting her own origin story.
I'm going to let you see our children if you behave in a certain way and we can control the landscape. I mean, it was like really sick and contrived. And I think he got to the point where,
I'm going to let you see our children if you behave a certain way and we can control the landscape. It was really sick and contrived, the woman said. And it got messier from there. In one emotional clip now circulating online, she claimed, "I watched her become someone else. She used to talk about family all the time. Now it's like we never existed. It's like she erased us." And that hit hard because if there's one thing that has haunted Meghan's rise to fame, it's the shadow of her own family. The tension with her father, the feud with her half-sister Samantha, and now a newly revealed relative threatening to air the Markle family's private matters in front of millions. And according to insiders, Meghan is furious, with one Hollywood source telling the Daily Express she thought she'd heard it all, but this one hit her like a ton of bricks. It's someone she can't easily dismiss as a liar or opportunist, which raises the million-dollar question. Who is this woman really? To understand, let's rewind. Before Meghan became the Duchess of Sussex, before the Oprah special, before the Montecito mansion, she was Rachel Meghan Markle, a girl from Los Angeles navigating divorced parents, audition rejections, and family complexities. With her father, Thomas Markle Sr., working in television as a lighting director, and her mother, Doria Ragland, a social worker with a calm and grounded presence.
In a way, picked on, he made a mistake. But if you actually listen to what this chief of the charity is saying, she's just trying to run it as it should be run, and he's running it.
But what many people don't realize is that Thomas Markle Sr. had children from a previous marriage, Samantha and Thomas Jr., making Meghan the youngest of the Markle clan. And while that part is well known, rumors have long suggested the family tree might be even more complicated than the public realizes. And now this supposed hidden sister claims that Meghan's carefully curated public image glossed over entire relationships, people she allegedly left behind once fame came king. And in her words, it wasn't about protecting privacy, it was about protecting an image, words that spread across social media like wildfire, with TikTok gossip accounts piecing together clues, old interviews, and even alleged childhood photos, while some users compared Meghan's early acting bios and family statements. And it's safe to say the puzzle pieces aren't fitting neatly anymore. To make matters worse, royal watchers say this couldn't have come at a more inconvenient time, as Meghan has been desperately trying to rebuild her brand after failed business ventures and public backlash over her Netflix content. And this sudden wave of family revelations threatens to shatter the fragile narrative she's been holding onto with a PR insider in Los Angeles, noting that the problem is Meghan can't keep pretending her family doesn't exist, because the public sees through it when every relative tells the same story, that she cuts people off, rewrites the truth, and plays the victim, forcing questions. And that's the thing. Meghan's brand has always leaned heavily on authenticity, with her appeal built not just on her royal title, but her relatable story as a biracial American woman breaking barriers inside a centuries old monarchy, a narrative that was compelling, powerful, and effective. But as this hidden sister paints a very different picture, one of manipulation, selective storytelling, and emotional distance, that story starts to crumble. To be clear, no one is claiming this woman's account is gospel truth, but perception in Meghan's world is everything. And this isn't the first time her family has dropped bombshells, with Samantha Markle publicly accusing Meghan of abandoning their father and fabricating parts of her biography, Thomas Jr. declaring on reality television that Meghan forgot where she came from, and her father repeatedly begging her to reconnect, only to be met with silence. And now, with this new voice, the Markle family narrative is more fractured than ever, with one royal expert bluntly telling GB News that every time Meghan tries to move forward, someone from her past shows up with receipts. Like karma is working overtime. And the internet agrees, with comments under viral clips ranging from shock to sympathy, many saying they now understand why the royal family kept their distance. As one user wrote, "You can leave the palace, but you can't outrun your past." Yet Meghan's response, or lack thereof, has everyone talking, with no official statement, no acknowledgement of the claims, just the eerie silence her PR team weaponizes, though insiders say she's raging behind the scenes, reportedly calling lawyers to threaten shutting down the woman's interviews before they gain traction. But unfortunately for Meghan, the internet doesn't play by royal rules. And once it's out, it's out. And as the clips rack up millions of views across platforms, one thing is becoming clear. This isn't just a passing gossip cycle. It could be the beginning of a full-blown reckoning for the Duchess of Sussex's carefully maintained image.
Samantha Grant, who suffers from MS and is wheelchair-bound, just tweeted, "Family is family."
Because if this woman is really who she claims to be, and if her stories hold any truth, Meghan's truth-teller persona might finally face its match. And in Hollywood, where reputations can crumble faster than you can say Sussex Squad, that's the one secret Meghan cannot afford to leak. But just when it seemed the situation couldn't get worse, the sister dropped a final cryptic line at the end of her latest interview, saying there's more Meghan doesn't want the world to know. And that sent a collective gasp across social media. Because if this is only the beginning, Meghan could be facing a PR nightmare unlike anything she's dealt with before, while the palace sits back sipping tea, letting the drama unfold, because sometimes silence is the sweetest revenge, and it gets even more shocking. Samantha didn't just accuse Meghan of abandoning her roots. She started naming names, hinting that even people inside Buckingham Palace allegedly reached out to her at one point. Curious about Meghan's real past, concerned about how much of her life had been carefully polished, edited, or outright rewritten before she ever became a duchess.
Her own family, saying she didn't grow up among foodies, only learned to cook by watching TV chef Rachel Ray's 30-minute meals once she lived alone in college. Samantha Markle, your sister, slagging off the way your father raised her yet again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because we all saw her mentioning how great he was in the TIG, but we also saw from Musso and Frank.
She described Meghan as someone who used to practice her answers when people asked about her family, like she was auditioning for a role that hadn't even been written yet. And Samantha said Meghan's greatest skill wasn't acting. It was reinvention. She knows how to read a room, how to shift shape. You'll never meet the real Meghan because even she doesn't know who that is anymore. A line that hit social media like a thunderclap, poetic but painful, slicing open old wounds that never fully healed. And while Samantha's comments have always been controversial, dismissed for years as a jealous half-sister riding Meghan's fame, this time felt different, backed by receipts, old emails, letters, and childhood photos that, according to her, tell a story very different from the Hollywood fairy tale Meghan sold, including claims that Meghan would get upset whenever anyone mentioned their father's side, wanting to present herself as the daughter of a hardworking single mom, a cleaner, more relatable, and media-friendly narrative, painting Meghan less as a protagonist and more as a producer, someone who directed her story rather than just living it. Even rehearsing her royal outsider role long before meeting Harry, studying the monarchy, memorizing its optics, and flipping the narrative to become the global underdog. And then came the bombshell. Samantha hinted at a missing chapter in Meghan's past, involving a relative Meghan allegedly cut off before royal fame, someone who helped care for her as a teen. And Samantha suggested this person might soon speak out, saying, "There are people who stayed silent out of loyalty, but when the truth becomes a casualty, loyalty fades fast," leaving Meghan's PR team undoubtedly in crisis mode. Because if there's one thing her brand can't afford, it's another messy family scandal, especially one reminding the world she's been accused of rewriting her roots, arriving right as Meghan attempts yet another rebrand. From humanitarian duchess to Hollywood producer to lifestyle queen with her American Riviera Orchard project. Yet the more she scripts her comeback, the more unscripted chaos finds her, with number hiddenister and number Meghan exposed trending worldwide, dividing audiences between calling Samantha bitter and opportunistic or praising her for pulling back the curtain, while Meghan remains silent, no statement, no denial, suggesting crisis talks behind closed doors. And what makes it even more compelling is that Samantha didn't sound vengeful but tired, missing the little sister who loved fairy tales and believed she could conquer anything, while simultaneously saying the woman Meghan became is unrecognizable. A Shakespearean tale of two sisters divided by ambition and perception, one chasing royalty, the other recognition, both ending up lonely, misunderstood, and publicly dissected, and maybe both are telling their own truths. Meghan growing tired of being defined by family chaos, Samantha feeling erased, with the messy human middle between competing realities rarely making headlines. Yet the timing of Samantha's openness, just as Meghan prepares new public projects and possibly a documentary-style series about family and resilience, could be a coincidence or a calculated move, ending with Samantha's cryptic line, "The truth doesn't disappear, it just waits for the right microphone," hinting more revelations to come. Which means Meghan's carefully managed comeback may face another public storm, because once family drama hits the internet, it can't be spun away. And for someone who built an empire on controlled storytelling, losing narrative control is the scariest twist, with every attempt to step back into the spotlight met by someone from her past dragging her into the shadows. And this time, it's not a tabloid, it's her own blood. And whether you believe Samantha or not, one thing is clear: the Markle family drama isn't a chapter, it's a trilogy, and if Samantha's words are any clue, the final act hasn't even begun. So buckle up, because when family secrets spill under Hollywood lights, there's no clean ending.